With Overwatch 2 coming out in just a few days, let's go over the new healer, tank, and DPS heroes tips and tricks to optimize your plays. Today we'll be talking about the tank Junker Queen. Unlike most tanks, this tank prefers to get into close combat with enemy heroes because most of her abilities have either short ranges or gets enemies closer to her, and she has an aggressive playstyle where the more damage you deal, the more you will be healed from most of her abilities. Junker Queen has an HP of 425. This is a pretty low amount for HP, but it is counteracted by her abilities, as we'll discuss in just a little bit. So first, let's go over her passive ability. She heals from all damage over time effects, which are inflicted by her keyword wounds. This passive ability is called Adrenaline Rush. Wounds can be applied with 3 of her abilities, including one of her ultimates. So you're going to be applying and getting this effect very often. Her primary weapon is a shotgun by the name of Scattergun. The Scattergun is very similar to Roadhog's secondary fire, but it is more accurate. Depending on the amount of pellets that you actually hit on the target, you can deal upwards to 80 damage or more. The fire rate is 1 shot every 0.8 seconds, and the ammo count is 6, as well as your reload time being 1.5 seconds. This, of course, can headshot. Her next ability, Jagged Blade, is going to be an ability that you use very often because it has a short cooldown of 6 seconds and it brings enemies towards you after you get the blade into them. Her knife ability is able to travel through walls, so if it's inside a building or across a wall, you can recall it and the enemy in front of you will get the wound effect. So keep that in mind when you use this ability. Potentially you could misthrow and still get a benefit from it. When you throw it into an enemy or throw it at all, you have to reactivate it to return it. If the return blade hits a target, it will apply the wound effect, which is the damage over time ability that heals you. This cannot headshot. Most of the time you will want to use this ability to bring enemies closer to you, but if you position it correctly, you can use it to mass wound a large amount of enemy heroes, which can heal you a lot. The impact damage is 80 and the wound damage is 15. Her next ability doesn't apply wounds, but it also is a very helpful tool for you and your allies by the name of Commanding Shout. This increases your HP by 200 and nearby allies' HP by 50, and it makes everyone affected by this ability have increased movement speed of 30%, which is very valuable in a lot of team fights, as you know if you play a lot of Overwatch, considering Lucio is commonly top meta, but that's a discussion for another video. It has a max range of 15 meters and has a duration of 3 seconds. It has a cooldown of 15 seconds, and the temporary HP does not decay over its duration. It used to in the past. Her next ability is another ability that can apply wound by the name of Carnage. You swing your axe to wound all enemies in front of you, dealing damage over time, which is the wound. The impact damage is 90 and the wound is 40. Once again, all wound damage heals you, so if you damage 2 characters, you will deal 80 wound damage as well as the impact damage, thus healing you for 80 HP. This has a max range of 5 meters and only a cooldown of 8 seconds, so you'll be using this often and it is encouraged to use it often. And finally, her ultimate is Rampage. It takes 2,520 points to fully charge this ultimate, and it makes the player charge forward and wound enemies, dealing damage over time and preventing them from being healed. The total damage it can do with Rampage on hit is 100, which is wound damage, so it's damage over time, so it's not an immediate 100 damage. But of course, since it's wound damage, you are going to be healing for a 1-to-1 ratio of the wound damage. The area of effect is 5 meters, the duration is 5 meters, and is generally a really good ability to get into the fray very quickly, or even to just heal you very quickly as well. You will want to play smart when playing Junker Queen. Junker Queen does have a decently mid to high skill ceiling, which means if you play super recklessly, you will die very easily. What changes a bad to good Junker Queen is using her abilities to get reckless, to potentially get kills or heal her for a considerable amount without dying in the process. It's very easy to get to short range and thus die very easily against some matchups, so make sure to be cautious on what heroes you use your abilities on. For example, your Carnage ability, which is the swinging axe ability, should be used against targets such as Reinhardt or Doomfist, which naturally get up close to you, but you shouldn't go into a 1v5 situation just to use Carnage because you would die very easily, which is a bit obvious, but you wouldn't believe how many people make that mistake. If there's anything I can improve on this video, please tell me in the comments below. But as always, let me thank the members who make these videos possible. We have Clairvoyance, Rick and Glacius, Grey Wolf, Cameron, Wishkeeper, and Kala Doctor. These are the members on Patreon or YouTube who support me as little as $5 a month. And you can also support me as little as $5 a month by clicking the link in the comments or description or on the top right to become a member. The more members we have, the closer I get to becoming full-time, which of course means more videos for you guys. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.
And the last shall be first to immerse in a pass out heat, facing him out with a moxie melt till he woke up drowning in tchotchke hell. War in a cave with a torch on a wall, then a window arrangement of porcelain dolls.